Story 1. I got a new job that represented a 20% raise into the low six figures, and my girlfriend immediately asked her friend what he made, which was $250,000, and told me about it, as if to complain about my new job. She later apologized and thought I was going to break up with her over it. Story 2. Like it's my duty to be funny and provide constant entertainment. Cue into every little thing she might be thinking and adjust my own personality accordingly. Story 3. There's no room to grow into a relationship. People want the feeling of a multi-year relationship by the fifth date. Love is something that should be earned after a lot of growth and time with each other, not something you expect after knowing somebody for a month. People keep trying to fast forward the dating stage. Also, paying for dates is just a very old custom that makes sense if you only ever date 5 people in your life. But with how rapidly first dates stack up in the app age and how quickly people drop you, it's unreasonable to expect somebody else to pay your way until you've established you're both staying around for longer than a few weeks. Story 4. I need to simultaneously make all the decisions and also none of the decisions. I have to be aggressive bordering on sexual assault but also understand consent. But asking is a turnoff, so I just gotta know. I have to be at least 6 feet tall. I need to earn enough to support our family, but also have enough time off to spend with her. I need to be her emotional rock, but I need to show some emotion, but not too much because then I look weak. I need to be young and healthy like a 20-something, but stable and financially secure like a 40-something. When in reality, I'm falling apart like a 60-something and financially secure like a 15-year-old. Story 5. I was set up by a friend with a woman. She quickly got into discussions about money. She thought that earning 6 figures was easy and laughed at me for not making that much. I'm an electrician, and I'm happy earning $75,000 a year. I have my own place and own all my belongings. However, that experience reinforced the stereotype that women only care about money. I have talked with that friend less since. Story 6. She expected me to perform oral sex on her every time we were intimate, but she refused to reciprocate, claiming that it is degrading for a woman to do so. Needless to say, I moved on right after that. What a hypocrite. Story 7. I don't know how to phrase it, but many of the women I'm just like, do you even want to date right now? It shouldn't feel like a full-time job for me to have to pressure and reassure you into coming out or sticking with plans. It just feels like anxiety has become this cop-out from being an adult, and more people are leaning towards codependency and partners in unhealthy lifestyles than healthy partnerships. If it's not that, then it's the opposite extreme others have discussed, expecting the Instagram real lifestyle without the substance. I'm adventurous, spontaneous, and love to travel, but I'm not paying 10 times the price to visit a place in a poor season because you want to hop on a plane this weekend. It's almost like they want to normalize the sugar daddy lifestyle and such. Story 8. Expecting to have all my responsibilities together, be a supportive partner with their mental struggle and see a therapist myself, pay for most outings and provide transportation wherever needed for the activity, and have my own place to hang out afterward, all while offering none of it. Story 9. Take the lead and make all of the decisions, but without ever telling her what to do, because that is controlling. Include her in the decision-making when she wants, but not so much that she feels responsible for anything. Basically, allow her to lead from behind. Story 10. Expect it to look like a 25-year-old, earn like a 40-year-old, show emotions, but not the bad ones. Be funny but serious. Plan but also be spontaneous. Be honest but not about everything. Story 11. I discovered online dating in my 20s and posted ads on Craigslist. I don't think that site allows it anymore, but we guys would make posts listing all the things we had or had accomplished, while ladies would post what they were looking for. It felt like whenever I made a post, it was like a job application, whereas ladies were posting things that they required for you to be in order to date them. It was very eye-opening to the online dating scene that frankly hasn't improved at all. Story 12. No longer dating, but when I noticed this trend a lot. If she has a job, an apartment, and pays bills, she is a strong and independent woman. If I have a job, an apartment, and pay my bills, I am doing the bare minimum. Story 13. Owning a cat as a 30-year-old man is seen as effeminate. My cat is healthy, happy, and is not a menace to others. You would think that would signal, Damn, he is responsible and takes care of the things he cares about, which could include me. However, I had someone completely question my manhood because I have a cat. Needless to say, she is out of my life, but the cat remains and I am better for it. Story 14. Why don't you just grab me and have your way like a real man because you refuse to have the consent talk so that I know what you are comfortable with? One time of being told whatever you want, and then getting upset at simple things before any clothes even come off is more than enough for me. I get it, being spontaneously taken is sexy, sure, and having a serious talk when you just want to have fun sucks. But the consent talk is important. Stop making it out to be the biggest mood killer ever, when in like a minute of taking it seriously, you could already be done and having fun. Story 15. I think many women have unrealistic expectations, and I don't just mean hot, funny, fit, and financially stable. I mean fit, but don't go to the gym. Have money and ambition, but don't work so much. Be sensitive and caring, but don't get upset about anything. Be smart and intelligent like a Renaissance man, but also know how to build a home and fix a car. Be friendly and outgoing, but don't spend too much time with your friends. Sorry ladies, the perfect man does not exist. Story 16. The one that drives me up a wall is the woman who is all about the fact that her time is super valuable, and then she proceeds to completely disrespect mine. Story 17. Make most of the money, share domestic chores equally, and handle all traditionally masculine housework like protection, pest control, landscaping, and do-it-yourself tasks. Story 18. One word. Instagram. If I had Bruce Wayne money, I would delete the app. Instagram just makes logic go out the window with women. 75% of arguments I have with my girl start with some nonsense she's seen on Instagram. Story 19. That they wouldn't need to sign a prenuptial agreement. Also, that they just automatically deserved 50% ownership of my business. Yeah, right off, and please do let the door hit you on your way out. Story 20. I remember growing up, we were supposed to be more understanding and so on with women who were heavier, less attractive, etc. Yet, as I entered my 20s, I started seeing more and more women like that who acted arrogantly, not comfortably in their own skin. Some would also have personal issues that most women would expect men to work on, but somehow men were supposed to put up with it all. With that and other things, so many women want to think that it makes them quirky, or however they want to put it. So many women who are, like I mentioned, self-sabotage and sometimes fumble things before the friendship stage. And they don't think they need to work on themselves. Also, it's so strange how women talk about their dating experiences with men. Yet a lot of men get dismissed when we talk about our own, even if we dial it back and anything we think we would need to. Like we want to make things better and just open up or whatever, yet we have to swallow it all and somehow not look for support or whatever, at least if it's not super serious stuff. Story 21. I am at a healthy weight, work out, and own my own business. I am 6 feet tall and put in the maximum effort to look good. My only 2 matches on Hinge were from obese women who put no effort into themselves. One didn't even bother with a clean shirt and complained about having to lower their standards to match with me. I don't know what standards they set, but apparently, I am not meeting them. Story 22. I once dated a woman who demanded I pick one of her bills and start paying it, pay for her to go back to college, pay for her to get a tummy tuck, and bring her fresh flowers every weekend. I told her no. She said I should do those things because I was getting all 3 holes. I said no, I shouldn't. She then demanded I call my mom so she could tell her that she gives me all 3 holes without me giving in to her demands. I said, why would I tell my mom that? And she said, your mom needs to know how messed up you are. Story 23. I dated a few women who were very concerned about dividing the chores equally. To them, that meant I did half of the tasks they did, like cooking and laundry, while also doing all of the home maintenance, computer repairs, shoveling, etc., without receiving any credit for anything they did not do. Story 24. What she seeks. A 6-figure income, a height of 6 feet 6 inches, both parents deceased, strong emotional support, complete honesty, and when in the relationship, you must fully immerse yourself in her life. What she can offer, affection. Story 25. Expecting me to give all my money to them just because I am in a better financial position now than when I was in my 20s. Yes, I have more disposable income and I have more freedom to do as I please, but if they want me to spend money on them or for me to give it to them, they still have to earn my affection and trust. Story 26. Expecting them to be as committed as you are. As a society, we have the idea that men are not as emotionally involved. In my personal experience, and recently, women can give up fairly easily. Even with a lot on the line, some women can have peace of mind that there is another man waiting to step up, and your relationship can dissolve swiftly. They are not necessarily yours. It was just your turn. Women change, and sometimes overnight. Keep your guard up. Story 27. That I have to be entertaining 24/7. I tried dating this one lady who straight up told me after 2 months that she cheated on all her boyfriends when she got bored. I decided to leave right then. That one interaction just left a bad taste in my mouth. Am I supposed to be your jester for the rest of your life? Come on. I learned at a very young age to entertain myself. You're a grown woman, didn't you learn that? Story 28. The last first date I was on before I met my now wife, the girl said to me, straight-faced, "So how long will it be before you're on a career track towards mid-six figures?" I'm not planning on working after we get together. Needless to say, that was the only date. Story 29. When I would agree to do something she wanted to do because she wanted to do it, even though it wasn't for me, such as attend church together. I want you to want to do it. I'm happy to do the things that make you happy, but that doesn't mean I can rewrite my brain to enjoy the activity itself. Story 30. To quote a dear friend translating a Bulgarian folktale, you go there, I don't know where, and bring back, I don't know what. It puts so much in perspective having to deal with princess syndrome that resided in many potential partners. Story 31. That I would always be working. I like taking extended time off every so often, a year or two to just enjoy things. They have always perceived it as being lazy. Honestly, who wants to work? If they had the option to just not work, they would choose the same thing. I want to enjoy life before I'm 60 and on death's doorstep. Not exactly a hard concept to grasp. Or when they say, why don't you just buy a new car? You can afford it. Yeah, well, that's why I have money, because my car works just fine and I don't need a new one. I live below my means for a reason. Yet they don't complain when I'm taking them on a spontaneous trip to Las Vegas for a concert. It's very annoying. Story 32. Women with children occasionally expected me to meet them early. That was always a hard no. Expecting me to be fine with inappropriate friendships with other men was also a hard no. I don't maintain inappropriate friendships with other women when I'm in a relationship, so I won't tolerate that expectation. Story 33. Multiple women lied about their kids' existence for months. Their social media had no clues they existed. Then one day they call me crying and say, I've been lying to you. I have 2 to 5 kids. Yes, this happened 3 times. But you're financially stable and want kids. Here's some. You have up to 3 different dads. Swear they were shopping for another child support payment. Story 34. Expecting me to be a mind reader, knowing when I should be an old-fashioned gentleman and conform to gender stereotypes, or knowing when I should be a modern man and make everything equal, respecting them as a strong, independent woman. Because you just know whichever option I go with, usually informed by the previous interactions that have taken place, there is a good chance I have chosen the wrong one. Story 35. Just turned 39 and gave up a year after a 6-year relationship. But her expectation was I let her change every single thing about my house I bought before I met her and pay for it. Pay for her kids and her. Be perfectly fine with being walked on, used, and treated like an ATM by her and her kids. Always be happy and content with a dead bedroom life and all the rest. Never express my feelings because that was me being a jerk. When she and the kids left, 3 times the hurt, but in retrospect, I dodged a massive problem. I don't want to start all over again, but I did try for a time. Story 36. Haven't run into this too much, but being a single mom with grown kids and expecting a man to provide for her and the kids. She also worked and made good money. I was making maybe $55,000. How am I supposed to provide completely for you and your family assuming we ended up dating long-term? The other has happened only once and is more of a deal breaker than an expectation. Matched with a woman on Tinder. She really wanted to go to Topgolf for the first date. That does sound like an interesting date, but not for the first one. Easily would have been $100 to $120 between the two of us for food, drinks, and reserving playtime for renting out a bay. I don't like spending that kind of money unless I've been dating someone for a while. Story 37. Told me she wanted a big rock because she knew her worth. Expected me to pay for dinners regularly even though we made similar six-figure incomes. Played around in her 20s, then was in a rush to get married for kids and told me not to waste her time if I wasn't going to propose within a year of dating. Story 38. That we need to deal with all their baggage from prior relationships. If they are not of sound mind, they need to get their issues straight before they bring them to someone else's door. Nobody wants to be their trauma dump. That they do not need to contribute anything to the table. I am the table just means they have nothing to offer but themselves.